Hey, what's up everybody? So I'm excited to finally take my first international trip since post-COVID. I mean, when I say international, I mean just literally across the border from Seattle all the way up to Canada. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, Canada's borders are finally open. And there's a couple of things that you guys will need to do before you cross the border. First thing you're gonna do is obviously make sure that you get your vaccination. They do require you to get vaccinated in order to cross the border. The second thing is you have to get a negative PCR test. So within 3 days of arriving. So for example, I had plans to come to Vancouver on Saturday. So I got my test at least minimum Wednesday. Test came back negative, so we're good to go. Last thing is to make sure that you download what's called the Arrive Can app, either on the Android or the Apple. Fill out the applications, upload all of the necessary documents, and you're pretty much good to go. And from Seattle to Vancouver took us about 2 hour drive, not too long at all. We were staying at a nice little place over at the Marriott in the airport way, kind of like in the Richmond area. But we are excited. We have a nice little itinerary for today as well as tomorrow. Lots of shopping, lots of eating, and let's go. I love Vancouver because they have really, really, really good food. One of my favorite places to come by and visit every time I come to Vancouver is going to a restaurant called Miku Sushi. And for those of you who really, really enjoy sushi, definitely make a reservation to Miku, because what they are essentially known for is this type of sushi called Aburi Sushi. Basically, it's flame-seared sushi. And it's interesting because it comes in basically a square format, and one of the things that I ended up getting was the lunch shokai, which is basically a traditional and Aburi Oshi rolls, nigiri that consists of basically 10 pieces, served with 2 appetizers and miso soup. Now, the appetizers that I ended up getting was a little bit of the ebi fritters, which is basically a white tiger prawn in herb, beer, batter, sweet chili, aioli, chili powder, balsamic reduction, whatever that is. Now, I highly recommend, basically, if you don't want to get the lunch shokai, definitely come by and order one of the 3 delicacies of the Aburi Oshi Sushi. Their number one flagship one is basically the salmon Oshi Sushi, as well as the ebi. The mackerel one's actually pretty good too, in my opinion. But for dessert, all right? For those of you who are getting a lunch shokai, you have an option of basically getting a $7 optional pricing for the green tea opera. And holy crap, when I had the green tea opera, it was so good. So how it's basically described is basically a matcha. It comes with basically matcha ice cream, but it also tastes like, for those of you who are familiar with like Ferrero Rocher, right? A little chocolatey, like hazelnutty, like chocolate. It's basically a version of that, but with matcha. Like, holy crap, highly recommend just getting the green tea opera. All right, guys, so after Miku Sushi, what I would highly recommend everyone else to go and do is about basically 2 blocks away, you're gonna hit what's called the Vancouver Christmas Market. And it's a really nice place, particularly during the Christmas time, holiday time. It's like they do have a little bit of a plaza area where essentially to showcase some of these different like vendors, and particularly for the food. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Vancouver Christmas Market. One thing I want to recommend is that you can purchase tickets online ahead of time. And I would highly recommend doing that, because if you do come, for example, you might have to wait a little bit. Luckily for us, we were able to get in right away, but we had the 3 o'clock time slot, even though we got in like at 3:20. So it just really depends. Again, be proactive, get your tickets online. So the Vancouver Christmas Market is located in Jackpole Plaza, which is right next to the Canadian Place or Canada Place. The event goes on until December 24th and open from 11:30 a.m. up to 9:30 p.m. And ticket prices for an adult are about $15.49 per person. It's free for kids and about $9.49 for kids ages 7 through 17. Now, one of the nice parts about visiting the Christmas market is just that Bavarian feeling that you get. A lot of the shops are decorated in the Bavarian hut style, and many of the vendors sell some really cool items and trinkets, particularly for the Christmas holidays. We ended up going to one of 2 places. The first one was the Inside Out Cinnamon Roll Pancake, and holy crap, it's so good. It basically tastes like a cinnamon bun, but like really good cinnamon bun. And we did end up getting the cream cheese add-on filling for the icing, and holy crap, really good. And the other thing we ended up getting, stopping by, is a place called Two Sweet Elves. And I ended up getting what's called an avocado. And if you've never had an avocado before, which I've never had, my first time here, it's basically hot chocolate in this case in vanilla, or rather hot chocolate on vanilla, something like that. And holy crap, get it. Really good. Alright guys, so after visiting the Vancouver Christmas Market, we decided to go ahead and get some nice, fantastic tasting ice cream. So Google it, and we decided to go to a place called Rain or Shine Ice Cream. They have awesome seasonal flavors, and what I ended up getting was the spumoni ice cream as well as the chocolate orange. The chocolate orange is really, really, really good actually. It's actually one of my favorites. I've never had this before, but the flavor is actually really, really good. What makes this ice cream really unique is just one, the flavor, but two, it's very, very creamy in texture. Like if you really like nice, solid, hard ice cream, come by and get some rain or shine ice cream. All right, everybody, so for our last stop, we decided to come to a place called Stormcrow Brewery or Ale House. And initially what we had found out was that this place was, you come to a place to have some beers, have some like basically pub ale type food, and also come to play board games. But it comes to find out that they no longer do board games, unfortunately. And one of the main reasons that what happens is people would come here and they would essentially break the board games, or they would steal like items from the board games, and as a result they no longer actually have board games to come and play. But what the servers actually told us that you could actually bring your own board games, that way you can just kind of hang out. So one of the cool things about Stormcrow Ale House is like the first thing you're gonna notice when you walk in is it's such a nerdy bar, like nerdy themed bar. They have video games, they have references from like Star Wars, Star Trek, all of these just different things that nerds would know. And it's a really, really cool place to come by, hang out with your nerdy little crew and just bring board games, bring some cell phone games, and just have a nice little beer, have really, really cool cocktails, and just, yeah. All right, guys, so I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning for some more Vancouver activities. Hey, good morning, everybody. So far this trip has been primarily eating, and more eating, which personally I love to do. Anyways, we are gonna go to a place called New Mandarin Seafood, which is a Chinese dim sum restaurant located in the Richmond area. And for those of you who don't know, Vancouver, Richmond has a lot of Asian people, and as a result, there's a lot of really, really good Asian restaurants. So I'm really looking forward to see and try out those fabulous dim sum restaurant that was actually referred and recommended by one of our friends. So let's go ahead and take a look. So it's been a while since I've had really, really good dim sum, and coming from LA and Seattle, I would have to say that this place is actually really, really top notch. And so we ended up ordering the steamed egg yolk buns, steamed prawn dumplings, the black truffle shao mai, pork flus rice roll, which is basically an interesting take. So that little like powdery thing that you guys see on top of this like white roll is basically like dehydrated pork, or supposedly that's what it is, but really, really good nonetheless. The shrimp and chai rice roll, the bean curd roll with prawns, and the corn pudding with the cute little dog mousse. Personally, among my favorites that we ordered today was the black truffle shomai as well as the bean curd roll. Because for some reason that was just really, really tasty and savory. But yeah, if you guys are looking for a really, really good dim sum, come by and check out the New Mandarin Seafood located in actually East Vancouver, not Richmond. Hey everybody, so after having some of our nice, good Chinese dim sum, the next place we're gonna go stop by is called Bel Air Conservatory, which is located in the Queen Elizabeth Park. Now, one of the things that I do want to mention is that because it is Christmas time, it's around December now that we're doing this video. Generally speaking, the places that you want to go to visit this Christmas lights is, the first one is Van Dusen Park, and the other one is Stanley Park. Now, unfortunately, because of this timing, we were not able to get tickets. And if you don't reserve your tickets, generally you can't really enter the Christmas area or Christmas festivities over at those specific parks. So we decided to go ahead and again check out the Bel Air Conservatory, which is it's a really nice place to come by if you're really into like birds and just nature, forests, and all that green stuff. Really, really cool place to come by. Just look at some of the different cockatoos, different macaws, and all these other different parrots and birds that they have in this facility. Tickets aren't too expensive, but you also do need to make some reservations to make sure that you get the allotted time that you came in. So for example, we bought the 1 o'clock showing, meaning we could come anytime after 1 o'clock and have to essentially leave before 2 o'clock. So if you guys have never really been to Bel Air Conservatory, definitely come by and take a look. All right, everybody, so for our next stop, we're gonna stop by the Granville Island, or particularly to visit the Granville Marketplace. And it's very similar to basically Pike's Market over in Seattle, where it's basically just different vendors selling a lot of their different products, their different services, and different foods. And I'm really, really excited because, again, love to eat, and there are some really, really cool and unique cuisines that are basically just located here in Granville. So let's go ahead and take a look. So after walking around the Granville Marketplace, we ended up stopping by a place called A La Mode. And what caught my attention rather is it's the pot pies. So we ended up ordering the salmon chowder pot pie, and holy crap, it's really, really good. So I highly recommend everyone, whether it's a salmon pot pie, chowder pot pie, mushroom pot pie, definitely come by and get some. delicious chowder pot pies. So we were walking by a place and we ended up stopping by a place called Terra Breads, and what really caught my attention was what they had was the cinnamon cardamom crumpet. I mean, if you just look at the presentation, that's really, really fabulous. So obviously I had to end up buying one, and it tastes exactly what it sounds like. Really, really delicious. And one thing I would highly recommend everyone else getting, actually, which is already sold out, is their blueberry bread. And the way it's described is basically a little bit of circular bread with white chocolate and, of course, blueberry. And unfortunately, when we were there, already sold out. So that means it's really, really, really popular. So highly recommend getting one if you can. So for our final stop, we ended up going to a place called Lee's Donuts, primarily because I was walking by and we saw like basically matcha donuts. I'm like, that sounds good. Never had matcha donuts before. So when we got there, the first thing you can notice is it's kind of similar to like Voodoo Donuts, just not as extensive, mainly because of that blue glaze and Oreo donut that you saw in the front line. But when I was asking the hostess or the server, like what are the three, or rather what are the most popular donuts that they have there, what they listed was the honey donut as well as the raspberry filled jelly donut, something like that. Obviously I had to get the matcha because that's what caught my attention. And by far, yeah, the honey donut is really good. It kind of reminds me of like Krispy Kreme, just not as sweet, but the raspberry filled jelly donut was actually really, really good too. And the one nice thing about this place is just the fact that it's not overly sweet. Like if you like donuts and you don't like it, if you don't like it too sweet, definitely come by and just have a bite. All right, everybody, so that's our trip for Vancouver. And again, we were only there from Saturday up until Sunday, so we didn't really have a lot of time to really explore the other aspects of Vancouver. Granted, there are so many different things that you can do, and due to the fact that Christmas is about 1 week away, depending on when you watch this video, there are plenty of different Christmas activities that you can do. So one of the things that I would highly recommend everyone doing is visiting the Van Dusen Festival of Lights, as well as the Stanley Park Festival of Lights in and of itself. And again, highly recommend getting tickets early on in advance because they are likely to sell out due to the fact that, again, Christmas is almost here. And there are a lot of other things that you can do. Again, visiting the Vancouver Christmas Market, the Granville Public Market, and so on and so forth. Lots of great places to eat over in Vancouver. So hopefully you guys get a chance to really visit Vancouver. Again, you'll need to be vaccinated. You'll need to have a negative PCR COVID-19 test. And the third one, I do believe it's optional, but good to have just in case, is to download the ArriveCAN application. Fill out all of the forms that you guys will need, present it to the border crossing guard or whatever you call them, the border people, and you guys should have no problems crossing the border. So anyways, guys, leave a comment in the messages down below and let me know what other aspects or what other parts of Vancouver you would like me to explore, because I am most likely going to go ahead and visit Canada again, probably in a month or two, primarily to go snowboarding because I am an avid and big snowboarding fan, and of course Whistler is located in that part of Canada. So anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time, and if I don't hear from you, or if you guys don't hear from me rather, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks a lot.